instead of to replace your college.
Hey,
Okay?
we're
Psych
talking Facebook.
101.
We're interviewing John Sullivan to see what type he is. Cheers. Okay, go ahead.
Don't listen to files, guys. Trust me, John. Go ahead. Sorry, Zach.
Oh no, I was just giving an intro. Yeah, we're trying to identify. John, when you're not talking or listening to someone, what are you thinking about?
Just about anything really. Like I don't know. Probably just taking stuff apart in my head most of the time.
Hmm.
The day or like when I'm working on, if I'm away from it, possibly.
Do you feel you understand topics better when you're able to have a conversation about them, or when you have your own personal time to reflect on them?
Maybe I'd say yeah. Even if like I were to have a conversation about something, I need time to reflect on it. So yeah, time for reflection on my
Let's say you're in the library and a 23-year-old girl with long brown hair and big brown eyes and eyelashes that are this long naturally, okay, and
own. Right.
dimples, okay,
Okay.
comes up to you and says, "Hi, you look hungry. I made this sandwich. Would you like it? It's ham and cheese and my special ingredient, peanut butter. I'm a big believer in peanut butter and ham sandwiches. Would you like to eat it? You look like a nice guy, and you look hungry. What do you do?"
So
No
an
damn
anime
hot body
character
drinking.
is making a strange sandwich. I'm probably gonna have to politely pass on
An anime character?
She, yeah, right. But she says,
that
but, oh, I,
one.
no, they're not extensions. Oh, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've been seeing you at the library for the last few weeks, and I intentionally made this sandwich just for you today because you just seem like such a nice guy, and I wanted to come over and talk to you. Will you please eat the sandwich?
Hands off me, degenerate, or something to those nature.
What do you say there? Or even if you don't
I
want to
mean,
eat the sandwich,
I would question if I had been fed something earlier, but
she says, okay,
yeah,
I'll make a deal
I would
with you.
just.
I'll make a deal. I'll sit with you. We'll split the sandwich in half, and I'll eat half the sandwich with you. Would
I'm
that
still
make you
gonna have
more
to
likely to
politely
want
pass
to
on
eat the
that one.
sandwich? You still don't want to eat the sandwich?
Uh, I talked to
Zach?
this person. I talked to this
Zach, do you eat the
imaginary person,
sandwich?
maybe.
Do I eat
What?
the
Oh, you have to
sandwich?
talk to her first? Yeah, do you eat the sandwich?
I probably wouldn't. No,
I don't eat the
I'd.
sandwich.
There's
No
no
one eats the
way.
sandwich. What if it's a salad? Would that change your mind, John?
If it was still a peanut butter salad, I still no.
Oh, so it's
What
the
if it
peanut
has
butter that's the
peanuts in
problem?
the salad? Cashews.
Well, if it's just nuts, that's fine.
What if
Peanut.
it's just a piece of toast? A
I still
piece of
probably
dry
no.
toast. A
He
piece of
said the ham sandwich had peanut butter. Like,
Okay, forget the ham sandwich. The ham sandwich is gone now. It's been replaced by a piece of dry toast and a side of peanut butter salad.
okay, if it's a chat person, if she wanted to read to me, that's okay, sure, why not? But
Well,
Question is stupid.
wouldn't it depend on what
It's
she wants to
providing
read
deep
on?
insight
if,
into
if,
his
if,
nature.
if an anime character is intending to call me, like, I guess I wouldn't say no. But it's like some
Okay,
strange
let me
dialogue.
change it now. Let me change it now. Okay, so now she's just a regular person. She's no longer an anime character. Okay, she's your age. Her name's Kathy, and she's a geologist instead. Where she's a first year graduate student in geology. She's got a particular fascination with the granite family of rocks, and she comes up to you and says, "Excuse me, but that's my book." And she points to it, and then she says, "You're not even in the geology department. Why would you even have that book?" But really, your book is not a geology book. It's actually whatever it is you're studying book. How do you take it from there? Go. Take it from there. She's mad at you because she thinks you've stolen her book. She thinks you're at her table. You don't. She doesn't realize her table's actually the next one over, right? So she thinks you're at her table and you've got her book and you're looking through it and doing shit with it. She's accused you of that. What do you do?
I tell her I was actually reading the C programming manual, and you're welcome to look if you want.
She looks at it and she's like, well, but what did you do with my book then?
I didn't have it.
I left it right here. I went to the bathroom. I came back. You're sitting here.
Wrong table.
Where's my table then?
Wherever the geology section is.
And then you realize, for some reason, you've chosen to sit in the geology section. You're right under the sign that says geology. She says, look, mister, geology section right here.
She gives some sass.
And the sign's there. It says
Geology section.
geology. Oh, I guess I moved and didn't realize. Yeah. I got
Okay,
up
so
and went
that-
back to the wrong table. I'm sorry.
So do you get up and move?
I mean, I don't really see a point to move. I mean, I have my
Okay,
book. I'm sitting.
but she still thinks you have her books, though. She's now increasingly convinced because of the sign issue. She's increasingly convinced now that you must have taken her books. And you're looking around. You think it might be a table way over there in the corner, but you don't understand why she would come so far away from over there and think this is her table. Her table that you think is hers is actually in the computer science section. Look at the sign that says computer science section. So what do you do?
Well, I don't know, maybe walk her through to the computer science section to prove a point. I don't know.
So what do you say to her? Do you suggest that? Do you suggest let me walk you over your table? Or do you just say, okay. She says, well, what do you mean? This is the geology section. Goodbye, file skies.
Where were we? What?
Okay,
Alright, so
let's
this
move
is-
on. Let's move on to.
Okay, yeah, okay. The last thing I will say is, tell us why this poses for you some discomfort. Talk to me about that.
Oh, if this poses some discomfort?
Or it seems to me like you don't feel like, when I'm asking you the question, you're not giving me the actual words you would say to this person, right? Like you're saying, well, I was sort of trying to accomplish this goal. I want to know, is there discomfort in that?
Is there discomfort in telling her, like,
What are
asking
the
her for
words
something,
you would
or
use? What
telling
are
her
the
where
words?
something is?
What are the words you would use? I want to hear the words you actually say to the person rather than you describing to me what you would tell the person, which is what you're doing currently.
Well, I'm sorry. I thought I was in the computer science section, but I guess not. Do you want me to take you back over to where I was, see if your books are there?
Okay, thank you. I just want to see what it sounds like when you actually engage with another person rather than hear it described. See what I'm saying? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Zach. Go ahead.
Maybe my tone might be different, but I can't just, like, sort of imagine that in my head.
I was gonna ask
I
some.
mean, specifically another person. I mean,
I was just gonna ask some of the questions that Mez up in the chat. So, what do you want to achieve? Here's a better one. How do you live now, and how do you want to live in the future?
how do I live now?
Yeah, how do you live now, and how do you want to live in the future, in general?
File skies, Zach. File skies.
Well, I'm not sure how to define, like, specifically how I live. I guess I live all right now, but
How would you
I'd like
envision
to-
yourself living in the future?
I hope I, like, be able to continue doing computer science studies, like, I guess, and live comfortably in the place I want to live.
Where do you want
I
to live?
like it. I like it where I live now. So
I see.
If you were to come up with different ways in which you could interpret the question, how do you live now? What different ways would you come up with?
that's a hard question to interpret in the first place. Like, residence,
I mean, yeah, like
like
things
location of where I am.
like I guess what you're primarily interested in, or like what's day-to-day life like, you know?
How do you make a mess? I like that question. How do you make a mess? Is the question.
uh, I take things apart. I get to work, and I sort of just leave and think, oh, I'll keep working later on, but then I don't. So then I have no idea what point that I stopped, and I have to sort of put myself together when everything else is a mess. I guess it's when I realize I've made a mess. I leave some physical project or some software project even. I just leave it apart somewhere, and I think like, oh, I'll get back to it in a few minutes. I don't. So
I see.
Do you visualize well? Did I ask? I think I did type you at some point. Do you visualize well?
as in,
If I say picture, I don't know, picture a castle with a moat around it and a bridge going over the moat and a horse on top of the castle. Is that easy for you to picture?
yeah, I like imagine the square castle moat around it, this bridge like in front of the door, and then like a horse be on top of one of those pillars probably. So
If you were to try to be, if you were to close your eyes and say, okay, I'm going to now draw, I want to draw the picture I'm seeing in my head, would that picture stay consistent and allow you to draw it?
yeah, no, I mean I have experience with level video games, so yeah, that comes easy. So
I'm sorry, you cut out for a second. You have experience with what?
I have experience with level design for video games, so like just drawing like top-down structures and like giving them volume. That's sort of easy for me to just like draw out on a piece of paper. So yeah,
So
I
it
wouldn't
was
be able
the
to like give you I wouldn't be able to give you a beautiful rendering of it, but I can give you the structure. So
was the interest in video design or and level design in video games, was that something recreationally that you developed an interest in?
yeah, yeah, it's not something I do too often now because of like the work that I do currently. But yeah, I had interest in like recreational video game design. So
I see.
then
Um,
If given the opportunity to, if I asked you to explain something and you had a whiteboard and you were asked to use the whiteboard to help you explain it, would you write? Would you be more likely to write words on the whiteboard or draw pictures on the whiteboard?
draw pictures.
Or pictures?
I mean, because my most recent experience with that is like helping one of my friends with data structures homework, and yeah, it was like drawing out linked lists and such, like how they look in a sense.
mhm.
Because I mean, I'm sensing like Mega Bro Junior here.
Uh, I don't know. I
But
see. I have
maybe,
a
but I don't know.
some of the bad, or when I try to type people, I always relate them to myself. So I feel like I'm bad at typing people because of that. Because I'm always like, I always want to. I'm inclined to look at it through the lens of like, oh, if they did this, then and if I did that, then they must be INTP as well. Because I had like interest in like game design and shit when I was a little bit younger and everything, and like you seem like you're like it seems like INTPs are particularly drawn toward sort of like programming and abstract design,
How
abstract modeling to deal with like time objects, as host Derek would put it. You know.
how do you organize your days, weeks, and months? Says Files Guys.
Uh, I have an unwritten routine, usually like is implied by my class schedule. Um, you know, go to class. I have work to do afterward. I don't really attack it in any particular order, and occasionally I'll have calendar appointments for important things. So fairly unorganized. Well, it's just sort of what I have to do implies my organization. So there's nothing that I plan too much for.
Hmm.
Do you
So
ever
that's
become
fun.
a bum for a while? Where you just like, I guess that means like you don't accomplish anything, you just screw around. Do you ever become a bum for a while? Asks
Yeah,
Guys.
yeah. I do need time away from everything occasionally. So
What
I
does bumming it feel like to you? What does it? What does it entail?
sometimes that's just bumming out on the internet. Sometimes that's I get outside for a little bit, make my walk around. Plenty of nature around, so yeah.
Do you feel like nature
Sometimes
recharges you?
if you're really slumming it, you go and talk about famous people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sort of particularly because I don't know. I come back. I'm in LA right now.
Oh, you're
Sort of
home, huh?
working. Yeah, I've talked with everybody that I can, for the most part. So,
How far away are you from me anyway?
did you say you were
I'm in Temple City.
Arcadia?
Yeah, basically.
Tennessee? Yeah.
Same.
It's
Where
not
are
too
you? What city?
downtown. Downtown.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. How long are you here for?
Only another week.
Okay, well, let's try to schedule a time when we can go out to breakfast or something and make a video live. I'll buy you breakfast and we'll chat for a few minutes and then I'll
Okay.
edit it. What do you think? Does that sound
Sure.
good?
Why not? Why
All
not?
right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, cool.
What type do we think you? I want to say INTP, but I'm bad at this shit. But you seem very INTP-ish to me. I mean,
I'm going INTJ. I'm going with files, guys. I'm changing my original diagnoses. Diagnosis. Sorry, I've made it plural for no
I
reason.
guess I could see
Now I have
the reason I
diagnoses.
asked I feel like the whole like when I asked if you feel like you explain things or you can understand things better when you talk about it in dialogue as opposed to like just introverted sort of reflection. I feel like that's an NE thing where people will talk to. It's like NE versus NI, right? Like NE seems to manifest a lot when you're talking to people, and that's when like you connect ideas, right? When you start vocalizing and your shit gets like processing, right? Or maybe for me that talking to people is the easiest way to access NE. I don't know, but that that definitely seems kind of like I could see how that could be INTJ thing, you know?
You know what you should do, Zachary? Or maybe I could do this one since you're filming. I'll do this. Actually, this would be just effective if I do it with this individual idea. I should put up a video right now that says, Mega Bro, if you're still awake, please come ask John questions.
I like Mega Bro a lot. He helps. I love when he gives me feedback on things I'm thinking about. It helps me out a lot. He probably doesn't realize how significant it is, but I like Mega Bro a lot.
I like him a lot too. He's great. And it makes me very enthusiastic about the type in general. INTJs. I'm like, oh, these guys are smart as hell. And, it's funny because it totally dismantles. Mega Bro has, more than anything else in my life, dismantled any previous mythology I may have had about being effective at debate correlating strongly with intelligence. Because INTJs don't necessarily, or would not necessarily be effective at debate because they're not that fast on their feet. But it doesn't mean they're not incredibly brilliant. And so I think that was informative for me. It's just that, you don't have to be any brilliant to be brilliant. Any brilliant is still brilliant.
Well, I think that
I mean,
INTJ is sort of
NI
like.
brilliant is still brilliant, I meant to say. Sorry.
I mean, he hasn't like caused me to like throw out any ideas I've had, but he's caused me to I suppose INTJs are like that. They're very critical of real world applications as well, and it's sort of INTJs seem to they're very good vectors for INTPs to refine themselves through. I feel. I mean, ENTPs sort of are like that too for INTPs, but really NT types in general. I don't know what I don't know. INTJs are cool. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's the thing. He's had lots of insightful things that have caused me to reevaluate, in particular, my positions on individuals being typed. When he says X or Y, and he's said lots of things that caused me to reevaluate my understanding um, of cognitive functions in general. He caused me to, one of his comments has made me ditch the wings model for the tri-type model. And I can think of other examples of that shit too. I pick up everything in life. I think it's one of the advantages of the ENTP. We pick up and take on to ourselves and basically pretend as though it is our own everything that's useful, everything that's is cool and insightful and interesting. And we don't organize it in our head, but it's there and it pops out at random times. So it sounds like
You
we know
made
what we're
this.
talking about.
You made this. I made this. No, I made this.
Yeah, right. We don't say I made it. We just say it as though we did. You know.
I mean, that's kind of the world I live in. You know, like I sort of just my whole job is sort of just banging rocks together, and then eventually, you know, the product of me banging rocks will come later. It won't be mine, but you know, the work that I did will be of use to someone else to make something.
Hey, I recognize that rock. I banged that rock. Is that what you mean?
Well, I mean, I do research, so I do preliminary studies. You know, like so companies don't have to.
That's nice of you. I want to see who Waiting for Name is. Waiting for Name's offline.
You want me to wrap this video up?
Oh yeah, are we recording? I didn't even know we were recording.
Yeah, I know. There's gonna be like
Fucking
10 minutes of Mega Bro dick sucking, but.
Oh, is that what that is? Yeah. 12 minutes. Let's not title it that though. I think if you put out that and say, "Hey, Omega Bro, come ask us," that could be our. Just title it, "Yo, Mega Bro, we want you to come ask John questions."
All right, I'll title it that then.